Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are in June. Michael Quigley's in the house. Hello from your friends at Ace Relocation Systems. We've got coming from the border, from Lake Constance. We've got people coming in from all over the world. It is so exciting. It is June the 4th, and it is such an important subject today. We are talking about mentorship. We are talking about the amazing program that Worldwide ERC has put together to help mentor people in our industry. So kudos to everybody at ERC for what you've put together. It really is inspirational. I'm so excited. We've got backstage not one, not two, not three, but 4 leading mobility practitioners who've been helping put together this amazing program. We've got David Toledo and Jennifer Rodriguez, and we've also got Erin Weber and Jessica Bravo. What a cast of legends. It is going to be an amazing show. So today we are talking about mentorship. Now, you know how it works. Everybody join in the conversation, write in the comments box, tell us who you are, where you are, tell us what's going on in your world. We want to hear from you in terms of what is important for you as we talk about mentorship, or indeed as we talk about anything else as the conversation goes on today. So let us know who's in the house, what's on your mind. Join the conversation. Hey, Deb Conver is there. Good morning from Vancouver. So excited. We got Mukta coming. So forward to learn how we can pay forward by being a mentor. We got Mark Birchall in the house, of course, the chair of Worldwide ERC. People coming in from all over the world. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube, and afterwards we'll also be available as a podcast on Spotify. Now, of course, mentorship and indeed professional development has got to be measured in some way. And one of the things that we all do is we like to collect our CPE codes. And we have those CPE codes for you. So if you want your CPE credits, I'm going to put the banner up here. We got CPE credits from our good friends at Worldwide ERC. Those are the GMS and the CRP codes. But also you might want CPE credits from SHRM or from HRCI. And many thanks to our good friends at Rocket Mortgage. We have those codes for you too. What about next week? Well, next week, we've got another amazing show for you. We're going to be talking about something that to me is truly important. It's global mobility meets AI. We're going to be talking about how global mobility is being transformed by everything that's going on in AI. And we are going to be showing you some amazing technology. We're going to be showing you some Benevo specific technology, but we're also going to be showing you some technology that is out there that anybody can use, that we think can transform the way that you live your working life and indeed your personal life. Some very cool technology. So do make sure you are with us next week as we talk about global mobility meets AI. That is a theme that we are going to be returning to a few times in the next few months, because AI is just, well, we're just at such a pivotal moment in the world that we need to really talk about it. But what's been going on in the last 7 days? What's been going on? You know, who's got a new job? Who's been promoted? What jobs are out there? You know what? Why don't we run the video and have a quick look? Here we go. So there we have it, all the movers and shakers of our industry over the last 7 days. Congratulations to everyone who's been promoted. Congratulations to everyone who's got a new job. And if you're looking for a job, and I know there are many people who are looking for jobs at the moment, there are actually loads of jobs out there, and we promote those jobs. Now, if you've got a job offer that you want to promote, then let us know. If you've just had a promotion or a new job, again, let us know, and we will do whatever we can to let the world know about your piece of news. Now, talking of news, as ever, we have backstage the legend that is Julia Onslow Cole, who's going to be giving us her geopolitical update over the last 7 days. So everybody, you know how it works. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button, and let's welcome to Benevo's View from the Top stage, Fraggerman's Julia Onslow Cole. Hey Julia,
hi, Brian.
How are you doing?
Really well, thanks.
Cool.
Really well.
So tell us, I said it's going to be a geopolitical update. Tell us what's news.
Well, I just wanted to say a few words about the economy and then just a very couple of minutes about trends. So yesterday I gave a in-person, I attended an in-person event to speak about geopolitics with my great colleague Eddie Raleigh from the US and also Brian Coulton from Fitch. And we had a discussion about the economy, and what he was saying, Brian was saying, which is very interesting, is that actually, if you look at what was happening before the current administration, the economy was actually quite exceptionally strong. And that was because, in Fitch's view, there was a massive expansion of fiscal policy, but also generous immigration. And what the growth rate with GDP was about 3.5%. And he was saying that if you take all the tariffs together, all of the tariffs that we're discussing that are in play, and obviously it's quite confusing at the moment with the back and forth, it accounts for about 14%, and that's of duties that the US collect on goods going into the US.
14,
and that's
wow.
Yes, that's, if you average it all out, taking all the tariffs, and that's a 7-fold increase. And prior to the current administration, it was about less than 2%. So there's never been such high tariffs at 14% since 1939. So Fitch is saying that this was a really significant shock to the system, and that because as well, they have really tightened up immigration. What's happening is that the labor supply within the US is shrinking because of immigration, and particularly in, say, like meat processing, construction, leisure, hospitality, and this drives up wages. Now, when you get wages that are driving up, this causes inflation, and normally what you do is you just cut interest rates, but the Federal Reserve don't look like they're going to cut interest rates.
I know that's a source of contention, isn't it?
Yes, that's a source of major contention. So, previously, because of the massive expansion of fiscal policy, and previously because of all the immigration, it was allowing a sort of a labour supply and the economy to grow without pushing up inflation. But now we've got quite a lot of inflation because there's wages that are having to be increased to tempt people to do the jobs. And growth has slowed, to Fitch's estimate, to 1.2%. So that's a really big difference between the 3.5 and the 1.2. And I just thought that that was really interesting, because I know Julie's going to talk about the tax bill, but I think that that's helpful for global mobility.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just to set the background scene, because the difficulty we have at the moment, Brian, is that there's a lot of narratives about a lot of things and it's actually quite confusing. But I think that's quite a clear picture of the economy.
Cool. Okay.
So I could say just 1 minute if I've got time about global mobility trends. So basically 6 things which I want everyone to take away. So the first is we're seeing all of this uncertainty. So what is your C-suite doing? And I can tell you this, that what they are doing is they are looking at optimization, they're looking at costs, they're looking at tax structures, they're looking country by country, but they're not making any big moves. No one's making any big moves, because if you move a manufacturing plant from A to B, it's going to be very expensive and you don't know where you are at the moment. It's quite unstable. So again, the big takeaway is keep following the C-suite, keep following the strategy, and keep an agile workforce.
And keep
The
watching
second
the news
is
from the top.
look at, there's a lot of discussion at the moment on global mobility. Look after your people, but also exactly, of course that. But look after your people, but in a cost-effective way. So it's not that people are just throwing money at it, but bear in mind, people are reluctant to move. They're asking to be moved to, they have to be moved to perhaps locations that they didn't think that they would be. But also there's, with all of these currency fluctuations, that's quite difficult for them as well. And the third thing is the talent shortages. So your talent attraction and retention policies are never more important, because once you get people, just keep cling on to them. And then remote hybrid working is still in demand. Compliance is everywhere. Big sort of underscore on compliance globally. And the last thing is, it doesn't look, unfortunately, as if the war in Ukraine will settle anytime soon. And unfortunately, you know, we haven't seen any end in sight to the war between Israel and Gaza. And we've got a lot of instability in certainly in parts of Africa and also in the Middle East. So keep your crisis management plans refreshed.
Great last tip. Keep your crisis management plans refreshed. Absolutely. Julia, as ever, many thanks. We're going to go straight on from immigration to tax. And I'm so excited. We've got backstage with us our other legend. We've got Julia and Julie. We have Julie Barron backstage from Vialta Partners, who's going to be giving us an update on US tax, and in particular, the one big beautiful bill that we've all heard so much about. So everybody, you know how it works. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button. A big thank you to Julia Onzo Cole, and welcome to our stage, Vialta Partners' one and only Julie Barron. Julie, my friend.
Hello. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. So tell us all about this one big beautiful bill. Where are we up to?
Oh, it's so big and so beautiful. Yes, thank you, Brian. So interesting updates from today. So today we understand the Senate is meeting at 4 p.m. So the Republican senators are meeting to talk about the tax bill. So just to give you a status update, it was passed by the House, then it goes to the Senate, then they have to negotiate their differences, and then it goes to the president for signature. And they've put a goal of having that done by the 4th of July. We'll see what happens there, but we know that the House is in recess that week. So in order to get it to the president by 4th of July, they might have to work the week of the 4th of July, which will not make them happy. So we'll see what happens. But there's some interesting provisions in the bill, some good, some bad. Some key mobility provisions are things like moving expenses, which were made non-deductible and includable in compensation on the last big tax bill, and that has now been made permanent. So we won't see a return of deductible moving expenses, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's big news.
It's big news. The tax brackets will remain the same, so that's good, with some indexation for inflation in the future, so that's good. Same with standard deductions, so we like that. we do have one big controversial thing, which is the SALT cap, which is basically a deduction for your state and local income taxes and your real estate taxes, which previously were capped at $10,000. Now we're looking at a cap of $40,000, but with an income limit. So if your income is high, you go back to the $10,000 cap. So that has been a huge controversy. It was 30,000 in the first draft in the House. It went to 40,000 in order to get it passed. The Senate is looking at that, and that's a big one. And we'll see whether we keep the 40,000, if it goes down or up. But some of the members of the House have said that's a deal breaker. And if it changes from 40, they just won't vote for it. So that's a huge issue for those representatives of states with high state income taxes. So that's a big deal for them. Some things like child tax credits are the same, things like that. A couple interesting things that were campaign promises by Trump are no tax on overtime and no tax on tips. And indeed, that is in the bill. So people who make overtime and tips as a normal part of their job will now get a deduction for those up to a certain limit. But they will be included in payroll taxes. So for all of our employers out there who are worried about what does this mean for me as an employer and dealing with payroll, it will still be included in your payroll. You'll still subject it to all your payroll taxes, but the individuals will be able to take a deduction on their tax return. So that should be a welcome relief to people who are worried about dealing with that in the payroll.
That's only up to a limit.
It's only up to a certain amount of overtime, and there's also income limits on that too. So what's interesting about that is a lot of people who are in the industry where they make tips don't pay a lot of tax anyway. So it's not going to be a huge benefit to them, but it will be to some, and they will get some deductions there. So it's good. One of the things they've taken away is a lot of the electric vehicle credits, a lot of the energy credits. You were getting a credit if you bought a fuel efficient heater for your home and things like that. And they've taken a lot of that away. And Elon Musk came out yesterday and said he didn't like this bill. And, wondering, was that because now all of a sudden his Tesla cars won't be allowed to have credits for the people who buy his Tesla cars? But on the flip side of that, they're now allowing a deduction for automobile interest loans, which we've never had before. So I don't know if that's to take away from this credit, but basically you can take a deduction for up to $10,000 of automobile interest, which is a really expensive car if you're buying a loan that costs you $10,000 a year.
Is that for all cars or any cars that are made in America? Because I know Trump
final assembly in the US. Yeah, final assembly. So not fully made in America, but final assembly. And there are a lot of non-US car manufacturers who do, make their cars final assembly in the US. One interesting thing is a Trump account for minors. So they're basically saying that any child born in the next 4 years will have $1,000 given to them in a special account that they can use in the future for things like education or a down payment on a house. And then other parents or whoever can give $5,000 to that account too. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit. Again, I said the repeal of the energy credits, that's a really tough one. But two other big ones affecting mobility are this excise tax. So I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but there's now going to be a 3.5% remittance tax. So if you are a foreign national living here in the US and you tend to send money home to your family at home, you will now pay a 3.5% excise tax on that transfer of funds to your home. And that's been a huge controversy in a lot of the Indian press and a lot of the Mexican press, a lot of Latin Americans who do that. So we will see where that one lands. I'm not sure if there's a lot of people who are going to fight against that, but there was a recent article and a letter published to say that also affects US citizens who send money to their family members who are in the military overseas. The onus is on the citizen to prove their citizenship. And so many Americans don't actually hold passports that proving your citizenship is very difficult. So, we thought of it as something only affecting foreign nationals. But while these US citizens won't have to pay the tax in the end, it does make it so they have to prove their citizenship. And that's not always easy if you're not a passport holder. So we'll see where that one lands because nobody wants to offend military families.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you so much for that update, Julie. That was just so much going on in the world. That's absolutely fascinating.
So much going on.
We're now going to move on. I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Benevo's very own Pankaj Bhatia to talk about some Benevo updates, and then we're going to get on to be talking about the mentorship program that ERC is in the process of launching. So everybody, you know how it works. Let's thank Julie Barron in the time-honoured fashion. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the applause button. Let's say thank you to Julie Barron and welcome to our stage Pankaj Bhatia. Hey Pankaj, how you doing?
I'm good, Brian. Thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm buzzing. I'm always buzzing on a Wednesday. So tell me, what's new? What do you want to share with the world?
Right. So just a quick couple of updates. So I'll start with a great opportunity for our corporate audience. So we are inviting participation in 2 of our open benchmark surveys that are currently live. These are part of our commitment to the shared knowledge and continuous improvement across the global mobility industry. So the 2 benchmark that are currently open, the first one is around the early career mobility benchmark. So this survey focuses on mobility support for the interns, for recent graduates, and early career hires. So we are exploring how companies attract and retain and support this crucial talent segment through structured mobility programs. So if you are involved in graduate hiring or intern relocation, this one's for you. The second one is around the immigration compliance management benchmark. So this one actually dives deep into how companies manage their immigration compliance across the global mobility space. So that includes the relocations, the international assignments, the foreign local hires, the business travel, and even the cross-border remote folks as well. So just you see the link. So schedule a 30-minute interview with our advisory lead Russ by Friday, the June 20th. So we do have like 15 days. All insights that we collect are kept confidential and are only reported on an aggregate basis. And in return, of course, the folks get early access to the findings and the chance for a personalized advisory session to compare their strategies with the peers as well. So
Wow.
Again, you can participate in one or both of the surveys. And then just a very quick other update is, in case you missed out on any of the recent client shows, we've had some fantastic conversations. So we had Delivery Hero where they shared how they scaled. Delivery Hero shared how they scaled the global mobility through Benevo's integrated platform. Cox Enterprise walked us through the digital transformation in the relocation services. And then Clavio gave an inside look into how they built a very strategic mobility program from the ground up. So again, if you've missed out on those shows, great opportunity for you to go back and kind of listen.
So absolutely. 3 great shows. Another one we're in the middle of now. And if, by the way, out there, you would like to talk about your program on our show, or you've got a topic you want to discuss, then shoot me or Tally a note and we'll see whether we can get you on the View from the Top too. Pankaj, thank you so much for that update. I know we've also got GME in New York in, I think it's a couple of weeks' time, where we're going to have people out there. So another great event there. We're now going to be moving on. We're going to be talking about mentorship and how ERC is helping the global mobility community manage and to put in place mentorship programs. I'm so excited. We've got backstage. We're going to start with David Toledo and Jennifer Rodriguez, who are 2 of the thought leaders behind this. And then we've got a couple of other special guests coming on after that. So everybody, you know how it works. Please, let's thank Pankaj Bhatia. Let's welcome to our stage David and Jennifer from ERC for the amazing work that they're doing. So everybody, you know how it works. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, and hit the applause button. Hey, good to see you. I'm so excited for this session. We got you guys first of all, then we're going to be bringing on Erin and Jessica later because it's just so exciting. So let's just start off a bit about you guys. So Jennifer, you're with Ace Relocation. Where are you based?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks, Brian and Benivo. I'm based in Chicago. I've been with Ace Relocation Systems for just a year now. I hit my year anniversary yesterday. Been in the industry for about 8 years. Thank you. Yeah, it's a great place to be.
Hit the like button. Let's give some anniversary love to Jennifer.
Yes, thank you.
And David, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, Brian. Good morning, or maybe good evening to you, right?
It's afternoon for me. It's whatever time it is. It's Benivo time. It's view from the top time.
Yeah, it's good to be on the show. I was just commenting backstage to Tali how this is a well-oiled machine. Thank you for giving us a little bit of time on this platform to talk about something that's near and dear to us that we've been working on for.
We love ERC. I know Mark's out there. Listen to Mark, Anupam. We love you guys. We want to do whatever we can to promote you.
Well, thank you again. I'm joining you guys from San Diego, California. So good to be on here.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's get into this a bit. I mean, mentorship. I think obviously mentorship's a good thing, but it hasn't really been done on a sort of organized basis. I mean, let me just start with you, Jennifer. What drew you to this idea of mentorship, and why do you believe it's so essential to our industry, especially today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all the work that we do as service providers, as corporations, our work is very important. And I think as we're seeing a shift in our industry and we're looking for new talent, I think we've kind of missed the mark on mentorship and building a talent pipeline for what's to come in the next 5, 10, and beyond. So having a centralized place for that mentorship is what this program is all about, and something that I'm very happy to be part of. And yeah, so I think this is just the beginning of something great, and our time is now.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's different regionals have at different times have had mentorship programs. They start up, they close, and I think having a centralized, to Jennifer's point, a centralized sort of location where we're sort of leading the charge. We're making people connect. We're building a community, and it's already such a strong community. There's mentorship already built into global mobility, right? So now we're just giving it a little bit more direction.
I tell you, you guys are getting the love out there. Look at Mike Quigley. It warms my heart to see these two. And what we had, Deb Convery as well. So incredible to see this next generation of leaders in the spotlight. And Michael Filia, good looking. Alyssa says, well said, Jem. There is love out there. I tell you, I'm feeling it here across the ether. But so where did the idea come from, David? Where did this all start?
It was kind of like a right place, right time sort of situation. So Jen was and is leading the Emerging Leaders Group. And they were talking about, they're ideating on how do we, what are some initiatives that the emerging leaders can sort of put in place? And mentorship was one of those things that they were thinking about. And Anupam happened to be at the BAM conference last year in, I believe it was March. And I again, right place, right time. I was sitting next to him at dinner. He was doing his CEO thing.
You orchestrated that. You orchestrated it next to him. That wasn't a coincidence.
Yes.
Don't tell him. Okay, it's a secret.
Yep. But he just started asking. He started asking questions and started saying, "Hey, what are we missing? What can WERC be doing to help the industry?" And I had gone through this incredible program through GBTA called the GBTA Ladders Program. Some of our peers in mobility have gone through it.
That's the Business Travel Association, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So I went through that program, I believe, from 2019 to 2020. I just thought back to how incredible that community was, all the things that I learned over the 2 years that I was a part of it. And, I pitched that idea to Anupam, and he said, amazing. Let me connect you with Jen, and I want you two to build it. So from that point until now,
you guys didn't really know each other beforehand. So
we knew of each other, but yeah, we're best friends now.
Yeah, you must have spent countless hours. I mean, how many hours have you guys spent on pulling all this together? Obviously, not interfering in your day-to-day time, but this is all your.
Yeah, right. Get us some job.
Yeah, you must have spent. I mean, no, kudos to you, and let's make you famous for it. It's amazing. But what makes this different to any other mentorship program? What's so unique about this mentorship program?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the two main differentiators I would say are the team structure. So instead of it being sort of a one-on-one structure where there's a mentee and a mentor, right? There's a team that we put together. So we call them pods. So the pods consist of anywhere from 3 to 5 mentees paired up with 1 to 2 mentors, right? So the pod structure is one differentiator. The second one is we assign a theme for the year, right? So that theme is something that the teams have complete freedom to interpret. It could be an app, it could be a thesis, it could be a company, it could just be, it could be anything that they'd like. And then they're judged on that interpretation, right? And then the judging criteria is, presentation, teamwork, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of different things, but those are the two main differentiators. And what the magic sauce of that is, you're collaborating with folks that you may or may not have met before from different, parts of the country, parts of the world eventually. And you're just being creative. You're taking a look at a subject that potentially is a big challenge for the industry or something that we're all dealing with, right? And you're creating a solution. So you're almost having by the end of it, I remember I would describe it as a Mr. Miyagi moment where you just didn't realize how much you've learned and how much smarter you've gotten. So
it's just amazing. So Jennifer, how many people are going to be involved in this program? How's it, and how do you get to be part of it?
Yeah, so we are encouraging applications right now for mentors, mentees, advisors, all of the things. So if you have any sort of interest and you don't exactly know where you might fall, I encourage you to apply and we'll fit you in. You'll be a perfect part of any puzzle. So please apply, the link below. And then we're looking for about 100 mentees, and we're going to pair about 2 to 4 mentors for each pod. And we will working on those pods, collaborating on those ideas and the theme. So please use that link below that Tally has added to gauge your interest, and we will absolutely fit you in.
And this is free of charge, but you have to be an ERC member. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so another real reason to be a member of ERC. So great ideas. Jorge said, this is amazing for our industry. Definitely, I will try to participate. There we are. I should say that at Beneva, we have our Change Makers initiative. And if anybody out there in the audience is one of our change makers, then as you will know, as a change maker, we pay money forward on your behalf to any charity that you choose. And just to let our change makers know, if you want to nominate the mentorship program as your charity, then we will make that donation on your behalf to ERC for that. So if anybody is a change maker and wants to support this program, then let us know and we will direct your charitable donations that way. So as Priyanka says, this is just absolutely amazing. So tell us, David, I know a lot of people have been involved. I think we've got a slide or a couple of slides showing the names. So tell us how the structure of it and who's involved. Because it's like a who's who of people who are involved. So we've got you, we've got Jennifer, there's Erin, Justin, Erica, Morgan, so many names, Jessica, Elisa, Sandy. That's just some of them, isn't it? Yeah, here's more.
Yep. Yeah. We've got an all-star crew of committee members here.
Wow, what a list of names.
Yeah, we've got to think about 8, if not 9 committees in total. And, they've all been so hard at work, from helping us with recruitment to sponsorship to putting together the content, our content team with Sandy and Kelsey. They all play such an important part to putting this program together. And, we're all working so hard right now. We're kind of head down on the hardest part, I think right now, which is recruitment and sponsorship, right? Getting the folks to participate in the program, getting the word out there. Thanks to you for helping us with that piece as well. And then, just getting some dollars, right, to pay for the one-day conference that we're going to have on Tuesday, the day before ERC in Utah. So yeah, thanks to our committee members. We wanted to give them some time in the spotlight there because, you know, they've been so hard at work. I think we've been meeting with them on average about once a week since March.
Yeah.
So on top of their day jobs.
I've got another question. I can see from the mentees' point of view what's in it. They get mentored and they learn.
Mm-hmm.
From the mentor's point of view, what's in it for them?
You know, you'd be surprised. I feel like anyone that's really been a mentor formally or informally, you learn from your mentees as well. You know,
Yeah, I get that.
You're also gonna get exposed to a lot of emerging talent, folks that are, you know, becoming leaders or will become leaders in the space. You're gonna see a lot of creativity come from these folks, right? So as a mentor, you know, you're being plugged into the next generation of leaders, right? So I think there's a lot of value in that for sure.
Yeah. I think also to that point too, like with these mentees having a different perspective, I think that can add a lot of value from a mentor point of view as well. Just seeing things in a different light or a different view can really be impactful. So I think it, you know, as I've heard this be said multiple times, I think mentors learn as much as the mentees do and vice versa. So, or mentors feel like they're getting mentored by their mentees as well. So I think it's kind of a two-way street. And there's a lot to be learned from both ends for sure.
Okay, let's bring in some more guests. I'm just going to bring in, and this is slightly different to what we rehearsed in the green room. I told you guys it would go off script. I'm going to go off script now. I'm just going to bring Erin in for a moment. I'll bring on Jessica in a moment. I'm going to bring on Erin. So, Erin, let's welcome Erin Weber from Envoy. So, Erin, how are you doing?
Good morning / evening. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good. And the reason I brought you on, Erin, is you're chair of one of the committees or teams, as you call them. We'll bring Jessica on in a moment to tell us about your role and what you're doing in your area. And that's that's communication, isn't it?
Yeah. So the comms team has been busy, very much behind the scenes at first. I think when David first approached me and Justin and Erica about heading up the comms committee for the mentorship program, our first thought was, well, where's all this information going to live? How are we going to get the word out? Like, what's the best way to go about this? So first step was building out this really great webpage within the WERC website, which was really a group effort. I think when you think about creating a voice for something that frankly doesn't exist quite yet, we really leaned on David and Jennifer. I think just hearing their passion for the project was key to building out, you know, the why and how we want to position everything. But then we're really also lucky as a communications crew, if you will, that we have representation on the emerging
crew. I love that. That's so cool. It's not a committee. It's the crew.
Yeah, it's all about branding. We have representation with the emerging leaders. We are all very intertwined with our local mobility communities, and we're always, I think, the broader group of committees too, just being able to bounce ideas and get everybody's take. You know, what do you think about this? Was really instrumental in being able to craft the initial messaging that we've then used to build all of the subsequent communications.
Yeah, not to mention, Brian, Erin, you know, if you got to see the launch of the Envoy Global brand this week or this year, I think it was. I mean, she's the right person in the right seat with the right skill set to help us do that. So thank you, Erin.
I think it's just great the way you're sort of picking up this talent from around the industry and pulling it together. You guys have got great things ahead. I mean, this is so cool. Okay, David, I'm going to move you backstage and bring Jessica on for a moment. So we'll get you back, David. So let's everybody say goodbye to David, but he will be back, and we're gonna bring Jessica on. This is so much fun. We've got so many people here. So Jessica, you're with Stripe. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jessica Bravo. I'm with Stripe. I've been in mobility now for, I think, like 8 years, which is starting to feel like a real number. For a while, I felt like a newbie, and now it's like, okay, I've kind of been doing this for a bit. And I think I've been getting involved in the industry now for probably like the last 3 to 4 years, and this is the newest endeavor that I get to be part of.
Cool. And Jessica, I mean, what's your role then?
Yeah, I'm part of.
I'm loving all this crew business.
Yes, the crew that I'm a part of. I'm part of the operations crew, and I'm joined by Morgan Kelly at Cox Automotive.
With our show just the other week, yeah.
Yes, Alyssa Lammers with Ace Relocation, and Janet Williams, who is with WERC.
And I know Alyssa's in the audience. She's commented. Anybody else who's involved, if you're out there in the audience, comment. And if you want to be involved as a mentor or mentee, then again, let us know. So tell us, Jessica, a bit more about what your crew's doing.
Yeah. We are, I mean, it's operations, right? We're working on setting the tracks up for not only the participants in the pods, but also, of course, the committees. And I think that, you know, there's the obvious pieces, right? Like having like a central technology and making sure that we're documenting things in a central place and so on and so forth. But I think that one of the, I'd say like the 2 priorities for us is making sure that the committees have the tooling and the resources that they need to be successful and hit the ground running. But I think I was actually, as I was hearing everyone talking about all of the people that are involved, I think really like the part that the operations team plays here is making sure that we're all speaking the same language. We have people from all over the industry, both on the supplier and the corporate side, new in their career, early in their career. And our job is really to make sure that we all have a standard way of communicating and working through this program together.
Cool. And Jennifer, just let me know, is this a US-based program, or is this global?
Yeah, as of right now, it is US based, but David and I have very big goals and aspirations to make this global. Yeah. We've met with a couple of other organizations within ERC who are overseas with, again, goals to make this a global program, hopefully next year. So keep an eye out for more.
Okay, so this is going to be rolled out. And what's the time scale for this? I mean, if somebody wants to get involved, when do they need to sign up by, apart from
yes, we are taking applications now into the middle of June, and then the program launch will be in July. So that time is now. Get involved, and we can't wait to see, you know, who makes up our first year of the Momentum Mentorship Program. Okay.
Erin, we're going to move you backstage for a moment, and we're going to bring David back. I said we'll bring David back, and I'll try and keep just 4 on the picture at the same time to make it look nice for our audience. So, so let's say goodbye to Erin for the moment. We'll bring her back later, and let's bring David back. So, David, tell me, how does this all work? How does this all tie in with the rest of ERC? Obviously, ERC is this big behemoth of our industry, and you're a sort of a fairly new bit of it. How does it all tie in?
Yeah, I mean, ERC has been so kind, so supportive from the get-go in providing us with the right resources. I think Jess mentioned Janet Williams is part of the operations committee. Janet Williams has also served as our liaison with ERC, right? Giving us all the tools that we need to be successful, sort of helping us navigate, you know, what committees should we be thinking of to tap for, maybe help with judging, right? Help with contributing to specific pieces like sponsorship or recruitment, right? And how are we working together? So on the philanthropy side of things, our philanthropy chairs are Tanya Marotini and Evan Miller. And Evan leads the foundation side.
Easy to sign up, says Sherelle. So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, she has signed up. Yeah. So everybody else out there, if you're interested, sign up. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted, David. You carry on.
No worries at all. No worries at all. But yeah, so you know, we've got a lot of tie-ins with some of the initiatives, like the foundation, the WERC Foundation side, right? And they've just been so, like I said, very, very supportive in this initiative, because they do see the importance of 2 main things, right? One is sharpening the skill set of the emerging leaders in the industry, and also creating an intentional talent pipeline. So a lot of us, when you think about, like, you know, how do we get into the industry? Everybody will give you some version of, it was an accident, or they needed me to do this because I had tax experience or I had immigration experience, right? So we want to change that narrative through this program, and be more intentional in, one, creating talent that's, getting smarter, sharpening their skill set, but two, recruiting directly from universities. And that's something that our Global Engagement Committee is working on actively, that maybe in the future we'll give you guys some more details on.
I love that, because you said, I have people on the show week after week after week, and almost everybody says they fell into global mobility somehow. Very few kids at school say, Ma, Pa, when I grow up, I want to be a global mobility consultant. it's not up there with like being a cop or a fireman or whatever. It's not up there. But the other thing to me is that if you had to liken it to being an Olympic sport, I would say the Olympic sport that global mobility is the decathlon. That you've got to have all these different things. You've got to know a bit of immigration, a bit of tax, a bit of relocation, a bit of tech, a bit of this, a bit of that. But nonetheless, most decathletes probably have got one skill they're the best at. It's the one they started at. They started as a sprinter or this or that. And it's almost the same with mobility professionals. You get professionals say, oh, yeah, I do mobility, but actually I trained as an immigration attorney, or I trained as a relocation consultant. And somehow it's people who morph from one into another, and there's not enough that are sort of trained in everything. And that's what I love about this mentorship thing, is that you learn maybe from people who come into the industry from a different career path. Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question for you, Jennifer? What happens at the end of this? Let's say you are a mentee for, I don't know how long it lasts. Is it a year? But you're a mentee for a while, 2 years.
The term is 2 years. Yep, that's our. Mm-hmm.
At the end of it, do you get like a certificate or something, or do you get anything to say that you've completed the program? What's the end game for the mentee?
Yeah, so we're working with ERC for some credits, educational credits, but then kind of what David alluded to earlier, at ERC or Global 25, we will be doing a one-day conference or kind of like a half day that day prior to kickoff. We will have the top 3 pods present, and we'll have an award there. And then I think prolong as you move from a mentee to a mentor, I think giving back to the program is something that's going to be really effective and appreciated as you move through the program. So becoming a mentee to a mentor to advisor, and all of those avenues.
So what's an advisor? So I mentor and mentee, I get. Advisors, is that something in the middle?
I could jump in on that. So an advisor is sort of like an in-between. So we wanted to create, so the reason why we did sort of 2-year terms is we wanted to create this sort of like graduation path, right? So you do 2 years as a mentee, and then heck, if you want to do it again, you can sign up for another 2 years as a mentee. But if you want to get on a path to eventually become a mentor, the advisor is sort of that middle role, right? You've been through it. You can advise these new mentees that are a part of the program. What are some best practices? What are some things that you can be doing to be successful? So that's sort of that path. And a little bit back to your original question too. So we haven't gotten this approved by WERC, so I hope we don't get in trouble here. But
it's all right. Mark's out there in the audience. I don't know whether that is, but say it anyway. Yeah.
Well, we also want to talk to WERC about getting some official certificate in place, right? That hey, you graduated from this program. This is a lot of work and time that you put in. So we want them to be recognized, for the effort that they put in. And that's also something that we could build into the university side of things, right? Which is separate to this program. But we're thinking about putting together a small mentorship program to recruit from the university side. So it's almost like you get the certificate from the university side, maybe helps you get a job in mobility. Then you go through the mentorship program as an early career professional, and you get another certificate, right? So those are some of the things and ideas that we're working on with WERC on the back end.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to bring Erin back on because I just feel a bit mean that she's not here too. It doesn't look quite so good, but let's just see. Oh, that'll work. Okay, Erin, good to have you back. So from your perspective, tell me a bit, Erin, what advice would you give for someone? You're on the communication side here. Someone who is hesitant about joining or unsure if they are qualified to be a mentor or mentee. Hey, Mark Birchall likes it. There we go. Okay.
Great question.
Okay. So originally announced here. Okay, let's see what happens. But anyway, Erin, tell us about someone who's hesitant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not let hesitation or perhaps some fear of the unknown keep you from dipping your toe. Because I would also say, I'm sure a lot of other people are feeling the same way. I participated in a formal mentorship program back when I was living in Chicago, and it was positioned in such a way that younger professionals were paired with people who were perhaps a bit further along in their careers. So you want to talk about two-way mentorship. Like, I was teaching my mentor about digital marketing, and she was giving me invaluable life advice about, one, just life in general, and two, just being in the corporate world. She's an entrepreneur. So you never know what direction it can go and what you can get out of it. So I wouldn't let any preconceived notions of like, I'm not ready, or what if I, don't know or can't do it. I would fully encourage anyone who might be on the fence to give it a try.
Completely agree with that, Aaron. Yeah, guys, we've built this in a way that you're going to be successful. We're going to give you the resources, the infrastructure. We're going to pair you up with, executive leaders that have done this before. So, apply.
Yeah, and I think just
get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. And I think even like going back to the two slides with the individuals who are leading and working on our committees, like, I can't think of a better group of people to help bring this to life. So I would also just say mentors and mentees are in the best hands when it comes to that.
I was going to say, that's like an address book to kill for. I mean, you've got all those people out there. You've got the ability to be able to contact them and ask them questions. I mean, how good is that if you're sort of, new to the industry?
Yeah, and going back to that, the comment I made, I'm telling you guys, you're going to go through this program and you're going to have a Karate Kid moment. You're not going to see how much you learned until the end when you're making those presentations, and you've sharpened your skill set. You're an expert in whatever this theme is, right? And you'll be an expert in that for the rest of your career, whatever it is. You'll make these invaluable connections with people that you might not have had the opportunity to connect with, right? People from all over the country and eventually all over the world.
Yeah.
And a question I wanted to ask, maybe I'll start with you, Jessica. I mean, where do you think this is going over the next 3 to 5 years? And maybe others can pile in afterwards. But Jessica, let's give the microphone to you. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully after, this first go around, we have like a very fleshed out, very, consistent programming. I'm thinking about it from an operational point of view, obviously, because that's the committee that I'm a part of. But I think that long term, I would hope that people continue to see this program as like one of the things you think back on your career as a pivotal moment. I know for myself, whether it's been formally or informally, when I've had people who have been really impactful as mentors in my career, like I can think back and say, those are the points where like I really felt a shift in my career. And I hope that this program can be that for people and that they can then foster that for others along the way.
Perfectly said. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, creating more intentionality behind getting in the industry, staying in the industry, sharpening your skill set within the industry, right? I think we said it in the beginning, Brian. Mentorship is already built in so well into this community. It's a big part of why it's so hard to leave it once you're in it too, right?
Absolutely. It's the Hotel California, isn't it? Yeah. Can't leave when you're in this industry. But tell me, the mentees, how junior is junior? I mean, are you expecting your mentees have had some experience of global mobility to be like, 2 or 3 years in, or could it be people, right at the very first few weeks and months of their career? What's the starting point to get into this?
I think any and all, I think we're allowing folks to, categorize themselves. If they see themselves as a mentee, it may not have to do anything with definitely not age, definitely not experience, right? I think where we're being a little bit more stringent is on the mentor side, just making sure that we're getting mentors in place that have led teams before or leaders within their organizations before, right? But yeah, just kind of keeping it vague and seeing where people categorize themselves as they apply for the program.
Can I ask, I mean, I know you said this is only open to people who are members of Worldwide ERC, but one of the problems for very junior people is it might be hard for them to get the budget to become a member. How does that work? Is that just like sort of, you just need to ensure that they get encouraged, or is there anything that can be done to sort of, for people where maybe they can't afford full membership or anything, any way of sort of getting them in a step in the door? I don't know how this works in practice. Maybe I'm going off piece here, but I'm asking.
No. That's
my show, my role.
No, that's a good call out, Brian, and something actually that the recruitment committee has been working on really hard. You know, we kind of foresaw this, that hey, maybe some of the more junior folks, they don't get to travel as much, right? Maybe they don't have a budget to become a WERC member. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We kind of wanted to see how the application process is going to play out as we get more people applying. But the recruitment committee is working on the back end with WERC to maybe put together some sort of exception process, pending, you know, seeing that barrier actually come to light. But we do expect it to be a little bit of a barrier. On the mentor side, those folks are usually already, you know, WERC members, a little bit more senior. They travel and go to various conferences and stuff like that. So we see that maybe being a little bit more of a challenge on the mentee side, but we're already putting a process in place to deal with it. So whether you're a WERC member or not, apply to the program and, you know, tell us why you want to be a part of it, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, we're into our last few minutes of the show, but just if we can just start summing it up. I mean, just tell me, how important is this for our industry? I mean, Erin, you're leading the communication side. Just communicate, you've got about a minute, to the world how important this program is.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah. In 500 words or less.
60 seconds or less.
So from my perspective, I think, and it's been touched on a ton over the last several minutes, just knowing that the time is now, and there's a bunch of people coming into the industry, or maybe a bunch of people who are already in the industry but newer, and we have so many wonderful, thoughtful leaders already. And I think having an opportunity to bridge that gap formally with our partnership and work in building this mentorship program, I think it's going to be transformational for the industry going forward. I think we've not had anything like this before running through WERC. And I think the opportunity to let wisdom, leadership, mentorship start to flow more freely is going to be really, really impactful.
I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to end up, actually, I just want to bring on the slide here, just so we can see. These are all the people. I just want to give them all a shout out. David, Jennifer, Erin, Justin, Erica, Janet, Morgan, Jessica, Elisa, Sandy, Kelsey, Vinny, who else we got? Corinne, Mike, Jana, Melissa, Evan, Tanya, Mary, Christina, Anthony, Sandy, LaMonica, Mary. You are all absolutely amazing. I think the hugest of kudos for everything that Worldwide ERC and especially you guys have done. I'm going to bring Tally, our amazing producer, back onto stage as we end the show. I just want to say we're out of time, but we are back next week when we're going to be talking about global mobility meets AI, a really, really important subject. That's next week. Thank you to everybody who's been our show. Also, thank you, they're not with us at the moment, but to Julie Onslow Cole and Julie Barron and Pankaj Bhatia for their immigration, tax, and indeed Beneva updates. We hope everybody has a great, great week, and we will see you all again this time next week. Take care, everybody, and have a fantastic week. And kudos to everybody at ERC.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.